Welcome to our Chixxs on Board podcast. We are excited to introduce you to many different personalities with their stories and passions. In a real and honest way, from women to women, with the clear focus to our passions of surf, skate and snowboarding. Today's podcast is different, as you can hear. Our guest Valeria is from Spain, and as my Spanish simply does not exist, English was the only and best option. The founder of Longboard Girls Crew and Longboard Women United, a personality of the constant path for better, for me a true inspiration of someone who created such a huge community, but even more important, so much space for women in action and board sports in general. Valeria joined me in this podcast to talk about her past 10 years, a roller coaster that I love to get you involved. Yeah, Valeria, should we start with our start? I mean, it's already some years ago, right? I tried to count back and I'm not sure which year it is exactly. Do you remember?
That you and I first met?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Was it during ISPO or something like that?
No, it was at the Women in Board Sports event in Sasfi.
Oh my God, that is true. That was such a fun event.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That was such a fun event. Yeah, what year was that? 2013 maybe.
I think it's
2000,
13. Yeah.
2013. Yes, that was very fun. Yeah, and we instantly clicked, huh? You and I.
Yeah, I remember I got that email from the owners of Women in Board Sports asking around if someone is picking up Valeria at the airport. And I instantly wrote back, yes, I'm going to do it. Because I knew that we might have some space to talk and to, But do you remember like the first weird thing that happened after we left the airport in
Yeah, something happened. We were driving with the truck door open or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we just started to drive on the highway and then the trunk opened. And I was like, what the fuck, our trunk is open? And you was like, what?
That is crazy. I don't know. Did we realize, or maybe another car? I don't know. They were doing like beep beep and because I remember us like talking, and I don't remember being extremely aware of that situation until I don't know. That was so funny.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Huh.
You took it really easy though. I was really panicking that I lost your skateboards and your gear, and you were super easy about it.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, if what's gonna happen? Also, it would have been very, would how do you say it? Would have been very dangerous if imagine that thing going down in the middle of the highway and another car having an accident. So, very fortunately, nothing happened, and it was just a happy memory.
Yeah, it's a real happy memory.
Yeah.
And it's actually the start of our friendship. It's weird. I think we always meet somewhere in the world, or we
Yes.
talk through Skype or through our phones, but it never feels like that we had like such long breaks in between.
Oh no, never, no. But that is, well, to me, that's real friendship, right? Like it doesn't matter. Maybe it's been, I don't know. I have friends I haven't talked to in 2 years, and then we talk, and it's like, yeah, of course. But I don't know. To me, that's true connection, and I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. Do you maybe want to introduce yourself really quick? Like where
Yes.
are you? What's going on right now in your life?
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Valeria Kechichian. I'm Argentinian. I'm almost 40 years old. I've been living in Spain for the last 20 years, and I'm the co-founder of Longboard Girls Crew, which is a big community and a platform that promotes and supports women through longboarding. And I'm also the founder of the nonprofit Longboard Women United, that using skate and longboardings as tool for social change. We work in extremely vulnerable areas around the world.
And what do you do with the Longboard Women United nonprofit? Like exactly, what is the reason that you created that?
Well, after many years of working with Longboard Girls Crew and seeing the extremely positive impact that longboarding and skateboarding brought not only to my personal life but to everyone, to the lives of everyone around me. Like in some way, I don't know, for us it's skateboarding and longboarding that it definitely changed our life. Many for, I don't know, for women listening to this, maybe it's snowboarding or surfing, but some way or another, like these activities that started as hobbies really ended up changing our lives and our self-esteem and the self-perception we have of ourselves and what we are able or capable to do. And this really reinforced, the way we thought about ourselves and bring so much joy and empowerment and self-esteem. And we wanted to bring these same things that skateboarding and longboarding have done for us to the people who need it the most. So we created this nonprofit called Longboard Women United.
Mm-hmm.
And through we create our own projects, so we partner up with existing projects that are working in field in vulnerable areas around the world. We collaborate with them. We help them with financial aid. We help them get hardware. We give exposure to the project. So we have in Malaysia we have the Wolfpack Skate Girls. That's the name of the project, and it's Malaysia is extremely misogynistic country. It's so extreme. So women are absolutely seen as fourth class citizens. There's a lot of harassment and abuse in all kind of ways. So we take these girls, many of them from extreme Islamic neighborhoods, and we create these safe spaces for them to start skating. We teach them how to skate, how to luge, how to go downhill, and we also it's very important the part of creating these safe spaces where they can share what's happening in their lives. There are not many of these spaces going all around Malaysia, so this is a beautiful project that now we are also thinking of expanding into Solomon Island and other different places. And we even go to places where most of the girls or our kids, they don't even have shoes, so we try to get them shoes, and it's not just about the skating and the longboarding, but now we're expanding it through the programs with arts activities, sexual harassment education, period education, because it's all like extremely taboo subjects that are not, no one is teaching these girls about any of this. So we do the same thing in India, in orphanages and rehab centers, and now we are about to launch this partnership with Surf Ghana, which is an amazing project that I love it, in Ghana, in Africa. And yeah, we are just doing what we can, in these small projects that we know, because I don't, the more I get into this nonprofit world, the more I realize how rigged many of these big organizations are.
Mm-hmm.
So I really work with people that I know that are really working in field and helping them out.
Mm-hmm. So creating a space that they actually as well can lose their minds and just be themselves a bit and forget about all or the whole situations around them. or
Yes.
or
And
what.
also they can share, what's happening, because many of them, they I don't know, they have a lot of, there's been a lot of there's a lot of sexual violence in these countries. There's a lot of things happening many times in between the families. It's very important to create safe spaces where they can feel safe and they can share and they can start somehow healing the trauma or finding solutions besides the part of the skateboarding and the joy and the because it's very empowering for them as well to do this skateboarding thing that it's like usually you see the boys doing these things, and suddenly they're very courageous and they're going down a hill and doing these things. So this is very empowering for them as well. So and also it has, especially in Malaysia, it has had this beautiful co consequence that is that the boys and the men are seeing these girls skate and they're changing their perception of what girls and women are or can do. So they're very powerful movements, I think.
So you think that the male position actually can create more exception about it, like about women in general in those countries?
Yes, I think. because they are very used to see women just, I don't know, or in the house doing specific things. We're talking about a country, especially Malaysia, we're talking about a country that it's legal for a man to be married with three women, and it's you can go to jail if you're gay. We're talking about a country with this kind of law. So imagine what it's like for women and for girls, to grow in these countries. It's not easy. Of
Mm.
course, some women are in better situation than others, but in general, it's a pretty complicated country when it comes to those matters. So for men to see girls doing these things, going down hills, gathering up, being empowered, it really helps them shift their perception of women. So I think this is very, very powerful.
I don't really know what I can say about that because it just makes, I don't know, we say in Switzerland we call it a chicken skin. But you
Oh,
I don't know if you know that word, but
yes, yes,
it's
yes. That's
when
yes.
your hairs, stand up and your whole
Uh-huh.
body is,
Yes,
it's just I feel like since I know you, you gave like to anyone the same respect, and I think whatever you did work on, you actually made a huge movement out of it that helped women in so many different cases. And if you say, like, imagine that they can be married to three different women, like, I can't
hmm.
even imagine that. How do you live with that? Do you go and travel to those places that you actually can connect a bit deeper? Because for me, it's such. I mean, I know that some countries are really bad, and like you said, if they're gay, they can get into jail and so on.
Yes,
But it's, even if I know it, it's not close enough, for me as a person
yes.
in my daily life. So how do you work, or how do you live with all of that?
Well, it's this is a reality. I mean, in this moment in humanity, there are so many different consciousness level. We are cohabiting at the same time. People doing some things that are, extremely hurtful and painful for others. People who are working, to I don't know, who have levels of empathy that are very high. We're coexisting in so many different levels, and it's something that is happening in the world today, and it's part of humanity at the moment. So I don't know. I guess it's important to be aware of what's happening in the world. It's important to me. I cannot understand life. I mean, I always say there are more than 45 million people in the world today living in some form of slavery. Today in the world,
Mm.
45 million people. Sexual slavery, building, doing clothes, like so many things happening today in the world, and we are living in this with this extreme privilege. Of course, we still have things going on in our lives and this and that, but still, it's we're very, very privileged. So I cannot understand my life not trying to make those lives better, somehow. So yeah, that's what we do. We get in touch. We're in touch. We see the news. We're in touch through social media. We talk to these, to the girls, and we're having meetings all the time. Sometimes I can go to these places, sometimes not. It's still everything is pretty new. So most of the times it's just through, we talk on the phone, and we are constantly in touch through WhatsApp and through Instagram. And yeah, at the moment we use social media and the internet to stay in touch. But the more you get into these things, the more projects, somehow, the more projects it's come, because people find out, like, oh, these girls are doing this. Maybe we can tell them what's happening in my country, and maybe they can help. So that's how it's been happening. We launched this thing. Whoops, there's a big thunder happening here. um, so they hear about these things, and then they get in touch with me, like, hey, I've heard you're helping this, can you maybe help me out with this? And this is how the project start. So yeah, that's how we're doing it, but it's still something very small. I say all the time, like, I don't know what I'm doing, I just really want to help. So somehow, you just find or try to find the way to make it happen. So that's what we're doing. It's many of us. It's not just me. It's all the girls working in field in these countries. The girls from Ghana, the ambassadors from India, the girls from Wolfpack. Um, there are many, many, many people in the world working for, kind of building like our version of a better world. So yeah, that's great when we all get together and make it happen.
And I think Longboard Girls Crew kind of gave you as well like the opportunity to go bigger and to have the connection to all these women. Do you think Longboard Girls Crew um, is still like, or how would you explain the Longboard Girls Crew at the moment for yourself? Like
Hmm.
what position are you in, and what are you doing for Longboard Girls Crew? Like just to let us know what part is Valeria
Yes.
and all of that.
Huh. So Longboard Girls Crew. So we started this Longboard Girls Crew is this year is going to be 10 years old now. So it's crazy. We started in 2010 in Madrid as a little project, to bring more women into longboarding, and through the years it really expanded and grew worldwide. We have presence now in 60 countries, and it has been really like a worldwide movement that kind of also help shift the perception of women
Mm-hmm.
in this sport. So to me, Longboard Girls Crew, let's say it's where I come from. It's my house. It's, I don't know, my most successful project, I would say, at so far. But I also feel that I really wanted to focus more on, like, I feel that when we started Longboard Girls Crew, there were no, or I was not aware of many female movements around the world. I was not aware of many female writers around the world. It's crazy to think, but in 10 years, things have changed very, very much. So what now seems super normal, 10 years ago, it was absolutely not. 10 years ago, I guess I only knew about like 20 writers around the world, and now it's like hundreds of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
So now there are already all these female movements happening. There are already all these super popular writers, and I don't know. I feel that female longboarding, it's so much in the map, and it's a thing now, and it absolutely was not a thing when we started it. So I do feel we definitely helped that happening, with all these videos and the, like everything that we've done, and the ambassadors and the events around the world, and constantly changing the way women have been portrayed, going from this kind of sexualized way into, our what we're actually able to do, our action photos, showing a lot of diversity when it comes to ethnicity, body shapes, age, the age of the writers. So I think we've done a really good job with Longboard Girls Crew. To me, it's always going to be, it's where I've learned what a community is. I've learned this strong sense of community, of building, having these values and having this mission, and having a lot of girls and women and trans and non-binary people around the world feeling, as a sense of belonging, feeling identified as well with these values and this mission, and joining and gathering, and that's what creates a community. So the everything that I've learned with Longboard Girls Crew and all these values is as well as what I'm taking with me with the nonprofit, with Longboard Women United. Though it's a different thing, we're still, I don't know, I do feel that Longboard Girls Crew has always been a social project,
Mm-hmm.
and the nonprofit, it's a very, very, or a humanitarian project, or I don't know, however you want to call it. But I don't know, to me, Longboard Girls Crew is always my home. It's hard to let it go somehow, because yeah, if you want to spend, I want to spend more time, invest more energy in the nonprofit. But let's see, I'm also looking for someone who can, be in charge of Longboard Girls Crew, so I can also spend more time, or more energy in the nonprofit. So I don't know, we're going through this transition, but I think it's a beautiful, beautiful moment that really changed an industry, and I'm super proud of it. I don't know, I'm still running it, but also I'm investing more and more time in the nonprofit. So yeah, let's see what happens.
So you think like the community thing was maybe the reason why you did start Longboard Girls Crew because you kind of missed that, or what? How would you explain the real start of Longboard Girls Crew?
Um, Longboard Girls Crew started, yeah, basically it started because we suddenly gathered two or three girls in Madrid, and we were like, oh, this is so much fun. Now it's so, we take so much for granted, getting together with our girlfriends and go for a shred of whatever sport it is. But I do feel that 10 years ago this was not so easy to make happen, at least in longboarding. Probably
Mm-hmm.
in other sports, yes. In longboarding it was definitely not a thing. So the first time that that happened, we were like, oh, this is nice. And Jackie Madden Frost, my friend, she's from Venezuela, but she's been living in Madrid for many years too. In 2010, she created the Facebook fan page, and then the next day she came running and she said, "Hey, we barely knew each other." And she say, "Hey, I've created this page. Let's move it around and let's try to get more girls, to join." So then everything happened very fast as well. We started spreading, this page everywhere, talking about it with everywhere. It was a very different scene back then too. It was very, very small. And then we thought about doing this video, and yeah, apparently today it's something very in your mind. Is like, oh, of course, an all female video, but it's crazy to think that 10 years ago this was never done before.
Mm-hmm.
So this was really impactful, in the collective consciousness as well. It's like, oh wow, look. And we were not doing anything super crazy or great. It was just like we were just having fun and getting together. And I don't know. I guess this resonated a lot in a lot of women around the world, and they wanted to grab their girlfriends and start skating too. So I don't know. I would say that at first we just wanted to get more women in the sport. This is the main reason why we created Longboard Girls Crew, and then through the years it developed into a more profound movement of female empowerment, of really breaking stereotypes, working against this stereotypical image girls and women have had through history, and creating community. So yeah, that's what we are now.
Yeah, and it's actually something. I mean, if you're a skater, I think you probably know about Longboard Girls Crew, and it's something for me. Like for me personally, it always was such an inspiration. Not only because it gave me a community, but because you did represent it in a way that I felt pretty much everyone or really everyone is welcome, There's no
Yes.
specific way of how you have to be or how you have to look like to be a skater. You could still color your nails and still be girly, but be in the community. And I think that's something really special, that no matter where you're from or what you do, that you actually have your space there. And that's actually something that inspired me as well to build up something similar, and
Well, you're doing the same thing with Chixxs for sure. So it's so lovely. We're doing. I keep talking about all these movements my friends are doing. We work in longboarding. There are other movements in longboarding. There are movements in skateboarding. There are movements in snowboarding and in surfing. We have so many friends who are doing, similar things to all our projects in their own fields. So I think this is super magical, and we're all working together for building, this that we wished it existed. So great for us.
absolutely, yeah. So how would you say was the change of yourself? Like when you think back, like 10 years it goes by so fast, but in the end I think we always kind of lose the impact that we really did, or we lose what
Mm,
what the last 10 years really changed in our lives.
yes,
Do
yes,
you
this is
think about
crazy.
that, or
Yes.
yeah?
No, I was working. We are finishing. We're launching a new web at the end, probably next month. And when you're doing a new web, many times you have to go through all these things that you've did, these last years. You have to put, I don't know, articles together and your talks together. And this was last week. I was just putting all these talks together and these press things, and I was like, wow, many times, you're not aware of how many things, we've done and how many amazing things we built and how the amazing places we talked or gave talks or I was like, damn girl, like this has been amazing 10 years, really, really amazing. So to me personally, there's so many things that have changed, like my life changed completely. Many things people ask me, like, so why do you do that? And I'm like, well, it's the only, this gives meaning to my life. It's what I never felt my life had as much meaning as it has now, because I feel that I'm very aligned with my life path and what I want to do in life. So when you find something that gives meaning to your life, there's nothing that can beat that. There's nothing that you want to do more. So yeah, I think that's the main thing that have changed in these past years for me personally, I would say.
And
I don't know if that was a question. I don't, sorry.
yeah, it was actually.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's not even like it doesn't even depend how much money you make out of it or some like if we want to get really rich, we're not in that industry, right? We're
Yeah.
so what you say is like there's a lot of passion involved, and I'm super inspired about like you don't only put passion into your work, but you do like a lot of heart as well, because I think the point that you not only get more women in a sport or get a create a community is like it's so much more special to actually involve people that have no chance to actually get that close to a sport or to even like information that we as women in Europe or
Hmm.
in other countries around feel like it's just natural, right? But those informations are so not natural, and I think it's so much more inspiring if yeah you put all your heart into your work, and I think that can be as well scary sometimes because it's your emotion, you know.
Yes. Yes. I guess so. Yes. But I guess through the years as well, I've learned I'm such a different person from 10 years ago when I started, like such a different person. I am less scared of the world. I've been working so much in my own personal traumas and pain and fears, and when you work all these things out, you're also less scared to show to the world, like the truth, your truth, your emotions, and you're less scared to put your heart into things because you're just less scared of the world when we work through our own personal traumas. So, of course, it has been such a rocky path, and it has been very unstable. Sometimes through the years, it has been extremely financially unstable. Like I keep saying, like so many years of Longboard Girls Crew, every month I didn't know if I was able to pay the rent or to buy food. And it has been a real, real challenge. People is like, oh, you have this dream job and you do this. And I'm like, yeah, it's not, it hasn't, I wouldn't change anything. I still chose this path every day, but it takes a lot of commitment and it takes a lot of belief, like true belief that what you're doing is actually is making an impact and is aligned to what you really, really want to do. Otherwise, it's not a super soft journey. It's very rocky, and
Mhm.
there's many things from your own personal beliefs that are going to be challenged. So, but I think, I don't know, again, if this gives meaning to your life, and I always talk about our inner voice, that some people call it, sixth sense, some people call it intuition, some people call it, whatever you want to call it. when you hear yourself and that inner voice is telling you, yes, is this way, there's no louder voice. And even if it's super hard, and I do believe, and I'm something I've learned through these years is to have faith. If something that I've learned with Longboard Girls Crew is to have faith. I've literally seen miracles happen every time that I say. There were 3 key moments in my life that I was like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. Like, okay, yeah, I see this having an impact, and this is great, and blah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I need to be able to know if I'm gonna be able to buy food next week. So there were many really challenging moments in this path. But if something that I've learned is that the universe, if you're working for a greater good and this is in your life path, the universe somehow will always provide.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happened to me. Like, literally, like, these 3 times that I almost quit, literal miracles happen. So if this made me something, is a woman of faith. So
Did you actually realize the miracle right in that moment, or
yes,
yeah?
yes, 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 because it was so extreme. It's like, are you serious? Are you serious? If you want, I can tell you one of them, or 2 of them. I don't know, but I don't know how much time we have. But yes, it was crazy. Yes, very crazy.
I just feel like some miracles, if we're in a really bad situation in life, and like honestly, being scared about not paying my rent in the end of the month,
Mm.
that's like it's not a real safe feeling that we have right then. So I feel like miracles sometimes get not that shiny and bright when you're in a dark moment. So that's why I just asked, did you realize that it's so?
No, it was because it made me okay. I'll be very brief. Can I tell a story? Just
Yeah, of
one of them.
course. We would love to hear
So
one.
so I was it was I had, I think, like 13 euros in my account. It was July 23rd or something like this, and I've been struggling for months and months and months. And I was like, okay, if this is what I supposed to be doing in life, I need a sign, because I cannot keep doing this way. I've been for 3 years this way, and I was like, this is okay. I'm done with this. If for next month, I don't, something doesn't come up, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
2 days after this, I was talking with, whoever you want to talk. You call it God, you call it nature, you call it the source, and I was like, okay, this cannot continue this way. 3 years after struggling, a couple of days after I say this to myself, I get a phone call and I get a job offer from a really, really big company in the action sports industry. They were kind of offering me to be a marketing manager. I had to move to Zurich. It was like, amazing opportunity, a lot of money. And I'm like, oh my God, is this the sign? Isn't it the sign? So I'm not supposed to do this anymore. And then I call one of my close friends and one of my mentors, and I was like, hey, this just happened, like, I have like literally like $10 in my account. Like, but I don't feel it. I don't know if this is the sign that I've been asking for. And at that moment he says, you know what? I don't think that's the sign you've been asking for. Let's do this. I'm gonna give you as a present 10,000 euros for you to keep going with your project. And now you can decide if you want to take that job in Switzerland or you want to keep doing your project.
Wow.
All these like hours after, and I was like, oh wow, I guess that was the sign. And
Mm-hmm.
I accepted my friend's money. I never had to give it back. And he said, you never have to give it back, but you have to do this for someone sometime in your life, whenever you can. Maybe it's not this much money, but you have to help other person, and not asking anything back. Just tell that person that whenever they can, they should help other people too, like a chain of favors. And at this moment, I was like, wow. I guess and I saw, like, who gives away 10,000 bucks to a friend to say, like, I believe in you and your project, just do this. And this was one of the first miracles that happened. And at this moment I was like, hell yeah, I'm recognizing the miracle. This is crazy. Like, when does this happen in real life? And then I called this big company. I gladly told them that I'm not accepting the job. And I called my friend and I told them, thank you for this money. And I was able to keep doing Longboard Girls Crew for many years.
Wow. I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yes, yes, you know the person. I'm not going to say his name, but you know the person. I'll tell you
I
after.
really, I just, I had one person in my mind, so yeah, I can
Ah,
imagine who it is. Wow.
yes. So yeah, so these are and this happened to me another time too. Like a couple, 3 or 4 years after this, I was like, okay, I'm done. And then I was talking to this guy and to the universe. I was like, I need a big sign, but a big sign is not like $2,000. Like I need a big sign. And because I had debt and it was just a crazy time. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. It's been too many years of struggle. And a week after, I get a call. A massive, one of the biggest telephone companies in France wanted us for a campaign, and I sent them a budget, and they, not me, they doubled the budget.
No.
So yes, so I was like, oh wow, and this was the second miracle that saved Longboard Girls Crew. So that's why I say sometimes even in the most uh, hardcore situations, if you're working for a greater good, somehow the universe provides. So yeah, I'm a woman of faith, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah. Yay.
So when we, it's again like I think I really, or I thought I knew you, and I thought I knew like some part of your life or some part of your journey, and I just now realize I don't know anything at all. And I think it's the point that we, or that I struggle the most with it sometimes, is people usually see what we do on social media, for example,
Hmm.
and they don't really have a clue what's behind it. They don't they don't know your journey. They don't know all the moments that really broke yourself,
Yeah.
that you actually can move on, or the fact that you couldn't pay your bills or whatever it is. Even if it's just a small little feeling that you constantly have through your whole day. um, I think that's, we use social media, for example, for good because we can grow and we can get bigger. But I think that's sometimes a bit a struggle with social media as well, that they just see that perfect shine of something really beautiful that we
Hmm.
create, and they don't really realize what's going on in the back. And
Yes, absolutely.
honestly
Hmm.
I'm honestly really, I feel really lucky and happy that we talk about that we actually can let people know that there's so much more going on. And it doesn't really matter if it's your business or the business of someone that is actually listening right now, but I think we just need to make sure that people know that they're human behind, all those companies and all those communities that we create with their own stories.
Yes. Yes, yes, there is, and there is. I think there is value in all of our stories. It's all in the end. Most movements and communities and even companies sometimes they are just the stories of the people behind it, right? Like everyone who's involved and each person's struggles. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's very nice and valuable to build something as well, to help build something or to build something. I don't know. I think in the end we all do it together. And but yeah, it's definitely not. Sometimes it's hard to reflect the struggle on social media. Sometimes it's hard to. I try to be honest, usually on social media, and I try to be honest. Some days I'm just not feeling it, and I'm talk about my pain, and some days I'm very positive, and I talk about how I feel that day or where I think our minds or my mind should be. But it's hard to show the struggle, and I don't know. I think there's so much of that. This is a big part of it. The struggles are a big part of building something. um Yeah, but yeah, I guess we don't always know how to portray that part uh, to the public.
Yeah, it's probably a hard
Mm.
point to actually portray that. It's, but I think
Yeah.
it's moving kind of in that direction that people as well tell, like even with the situation we're in right now, I see more and more that people are actually getting more and more honest as well, because
Mm.
I think it's something we share all together, or like not even the situation right now, but as well like the passion and the struggles that come with it and the happiness, and I think, yeah, I think it's moving in a better direction, to be honest.
I hope, yes, I really hope social media moves into that direction. It's very frustrating to me sometimes see, these still like the most popular movements to me are based in lies. So this is hard sometimes for me to see. So I don't understand like celebrity culture, and I don't understand like all these, you know. To me, it's hard to understand like so many people with these empty messages, having such big voices. I guess it's part of the process too, but I hope we really go into a more honest, into more honest places, less showing off certain things, and really, because in the end, what unite us, it's the empathy for the struggles, many times, because we all go through them all the time.
Hmm.
So I really hope we go to a more honest place. Yes.
And what would you wish for, like if you think about women in skating in general, what would be like your personal wish for that community or for that specific women out there?
I guess it's just I always say that skateboarding and longboarding, the communities or the industries or the scenes are just a reflection of society, just in that scene. So I guess my main wish, of course, it's equity always, of opportunities, of representation. It's really so that we step up, our consciousness levels, and start caring for the others, start caring for ourselves, change the way we talk about ourselves, change we talk about others, change the way we perceive things, have more empathy. I guess that's where, in my ideal, in my perception, where I would like to, the world to to move into, and of course all our scenes as well. There's in our scenes there's a lot of work to do when it comes to representation, but things are really, really, they're much better thanks to us, I guess, just thanks to all of us who use, I guess, these platforms, these online platforms, to portray women, what I call, in our truth, in our real bodies, and our ages and our diversity and our ethnicity and our different skill levels and all these things. It's I think it's important that everyone feel represented somehow and with this sense of belonging. So yeah, I hope we continue doing this so we can keep growing the scenes, and slowly the companies, even those who don't see it now, they will have to see it, because we are all changing, we're all shifting, we're all waking up, and realizing that most of the things that we've been told so far, or most of these stereotypes, and they are super damaging, not just for women but to men as well. So we are slowly, like breaking all these things as a society, and this is going to happen in our industry as well. Even the ones who are more resistant to change, they will have to they will have to come on board at some point. So yeah, it's a slow transition, but I'm happy to know we're putting all that we can to make it happen.
And what are your future goals? I mean, you did so much. What is your heart going for when you think about your future?
I would really like to have the nonprofit working very nicely. I would like to get funds for all the projects, and to be able to widen the help that we're giving. It feels so good to be able to help people that really, really extremely need it. So yeah, this is where I want to go. I see my future heading that way, and hopefully, yeah, I know I will make it happen.
I hope, yeah, I hope that your journey is a bit more smoother though. But
Me too.
yeah, you,
Me too.
I think you deserve a bit of
Yes.
smoother journey. But I'm sure you're gonna make it happen. I'm sure.
That's so nice of you to say. Thank you so much. I hope that too. Yes.
Maybe for our ending, we just talked now for pretty much 45 minutes. Maybe for our
Yes.
ending, do you have maybe something you want to share or to set as a goal for general women or whatever you want to spread? Something that we want to share right now?
Hmm. I don't know. I'm happy as women as well are waking up, to our, I always talk about our true potential, and I'm very insisting on this subject, but I do feel that when we work on ourselves and listen to ourselves and work on our traumas, I am very insisting on this because many times when it's all pain or anger or frustration or sadness, it's very hard to see beyond that. So that's why I'm so insisting on working on our traumas so that we can actually connect to our true essence, and to what we want to do, with our lives, how we want to spend our lives. And when we are working through these things, we can actually, all these lights start opening up, and we can see our path clearer, and the universe is sending signs all the time. So I always encourage everyone to work through this, to work on ourselves, to look inside, to go inside, and connect, to that inner voice that is always guiding us, always guiding us. It's just sometimes we can't see or we can hear it when everything is, a lot of noise, or still all these like traumas and anger and, all these things that are happening inside us. So yeah, that's what I usually encourage, because I guess it's what has helped me and what has worked for me through the years and through my own inner transformation. So this is the thing that I always encourage to women and to everyone. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being open and honest, and yeah, for talking about not only the good stuff. I think that's something that it takes so much more to talk about stuff that we actually
Mm.
struggle with than the happy things. So I think it for me meant so much to me that we actually could talk and maybe represent women in so many different countries in oh my god. I think I need to repeat that. We need to cut that out because that was a bit struggly. Um, yeah, just thank you. Thank you for your time, Valeria. It meant a lot to me. I'm not sure if you know that I am a still quiet follower of yourself, and I'm really happy to have social media to actually be part of your life a little bit sometimes to make sure that I can catch up. And yeah, I hope that everything that you wish for is gonna happen in a good way, and we hopefully hear each other soon and talk about the good stuff again.
That is so nice. Thank you so much for saying all those beautiful things. And I can say the exact same things. I love seeing what you're doing. I love seeing, even though you don't show that much of your personal life or journey. I still love seeing, what's happening and everything that you're doing. And I'm so happy that we're friends and we're on the same path and we're doing this together. And thank you for having me today. And being, for me to being able to share all this as well is super special. So yay, thank you.
You're welcome.